sendiri di sini, Joni.
Kamu udah lama nggak sih? Dan hari ini kita ada special guest juga. Halo, Geurts dari Geurts.
Ya,
Apa kabar, bro?
halo semuanya, very appreciate, menghargai banget bisa datang di sini.
Oh, gue yang appreciate banget. Lu udah nyempetin waktu dong datang ke sini dong. Terima kasih sekali.
Oke. Ini orang asing, jadi lebih menghargai daripada lokal asing.
Oke, sebelum kita lanjut, jadi teman-teman yang mungkin aja baru join atau baru dengan kita, bisa langsung aja follow kita atau dengerin kita di Spotify, di J-Talk Podcast. So, kita juga ada di YouTube, J-Talk Podcast juga, dan juga follow our Instagram di jtalk.podcast. Oke, kita bisa langsung mulai episode kali ini.
Ya, mungkin kenalan dulu ya sama Roy lah ya. I know that your face has been...
Tapi kayaknya semua orang udah kenal deh, perlu kenal lagi nggak sih?
Ya, makanya gue bilang, kita tahu lah mukanya udah bertebaran di media di mana-mana, but I think let's get to know Roy better as a person ya. Jadi mungkin bisa sharing sedikit Roy tentang yourself gitu.
Okay, so again, first of all, thank you for having me, kan. And as you know, my bahasa belum fasih banget, belum bahasa baku, jadi I will mix aja ya.
Nggak apa-apa.
Yeah. So my name is Roy Geurts. I'm from the Netherlands, asli dari Belanda, lahir di Belanda, tapi juga ada turunan Indonesia. Jadi my oma is from here, from Jakarta, lahir di Senen. So they are my Indonesian roots. Mungkin dari situ I come back ya, tapi bukan penjajah ya. So I came back. I came to Indonesia when I was 23. Yeah. So almost 5 years. I'm here now, and I came to Indonesia in the beginning karena just very interested. You know, I read the reports dari the 5 big agencies. You know, PwC, all these companies, Ernst & Young, and they all said, "Wow, Indonesia is a very booming country." Yeah, big growth, you know, the GDP and everything. I said, okay, let's see aja, aku ke situ dulu. So I go here, and then the first year I was quite interested, you know, so okay, there's a lot of opportunities, and for me as a person, I always wanted to give something back. So I was thinking like, what can I do here, which I was already doing in Belanda, and that has always been communication training. Jadi kepemimpinan, leadership, sales, business komunikasi, kecerdasan emosional, EQ. So I was doing these kind of things already, customer service training. So when I was here, I was like, okay, cari aja dulu a company that I can work for, so biar adaptasi. So I worked before for a big company, a face-to-face sales company, which is called Upco Group. It's already rebranded now, used to be UOB. And I worked there for almost 1.5 years, and then I built up my own company, my own training consultancy, which is Beyond Growth. And we are here actually for a big reason, of course. Kan, I believe if orang asing kesini, dia mesti add value juga kan, bukan cuma ambil duit dari Indonesia, nggak bagus.
Of course nggak bagus.
I mean the omnibus law make it maybe better for foreigners, but or foreign companies, but again for the locals belum tentu. Jadi.
Wah, itu topik sensitif itu, bro. Jangan dibahas di sini lah. Nanti itu langsung komennya ada 1.000, gua dihujat sama netizen itu ntar.
Iya, juga naik. Tapi aku sebetulnya tadi dari I got dropped from my driver, and he told me the same thing. He said, actually omnibus is bagus for the foreigners, but for the locals, ada beberapa persyaratan yang kita mesti revisi dulu mungkin. So, and I think it's good to say as a foreigner daripada local bilang itu ke pemerintah. So, but so Beyond Growth, we do 3 things. We do like the main expertise is sales, leadership, coaching. And all of this training we do through one big framework, which is called the EQ framework. So between EQ framework, bukan IQ, but EQ, emotional intelligence, or emotional quotient, has actually 4 layers. And these 4 layers, everyone can work on. You have self-awareness, you have self-management, you have social awareness, and then you have relationship management. And these 4 quadrants, if you work on it, misalnya kita taruh beberapa module in each of the quadrant, kayak the table of content, and then you go through all of these 4 layers, you can actually improve your EQ. It's proven. You can prove it. You can improve it. But again, most of the companies that give training, they just like, oh, this is a nice module, ini tertarik, then they put it in one proposal, give it to you, say, wah, ini the best, you know. Tapi itu belum tentu kan. Kita mesti lihat, okay, if we go through all these quadrants, nanti ketika kita nggak lagi di perusahaan, like we're not inside the company, we already pulang kan. We want to know, did we actually do it in a strategic way? So of course, every business have a different business case. But when I came to Indonesia, I saw like, wow, there is a lot of training already. Yeah, there's a lot of soft skill training, but not really focused on the emotional side. Like we know in Indonesia how penting kan caranya ngomong, gimana sampaikan, you know, we know it's really important. Tapi are we really consciousness yang benar-benar sadar thinking about it? What the impact is of our communication to someone else. Jadi bukan what we say, tapi our impact ke orang lain. So how does that make that person feel? Jadi itu actually balik lagi ke influence. So how can you influence someone else? And people say like, yeah, leadership is influence. True, leadership is influence, but influence in the end, if you can influence very well, we say, then you're very aware about what you're saying and how that impacts someone else. Apalagi how you can manage other situations. So yeah, I think the reason of the way we are doing it is quite effective. We've been very thankful and yeah, grateful that we have had already quite good clients, and they keep coming back as well. And yeah, I think until now, what I can say, it's back to personal as well. Yeah, if it makes you feel good that you see other people grow, then yeah, mungkin itu menjadi beyond growth. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks Thomas ya. Very interesting, right? Jadi I think you touch a little bit of the topic yang menjadi sebenarnya pembahasan hari ini ya. How emotional intelligence affects and build your future careers actually, right? Jadi mungkin dari dulu kan kalau, I mean at least for me lah ya, kita masih dari kecil gitu kan selalu bilang kan, oh lu tes IQ lu IQ jongkok gitu kan dibilang kalau misalnya di bawah 100 atau tengkurap gitu ya kalau misalnya ini ya. Tapi nggak ada yang dibilang oh lu tes EQ gitu ya, itu nggak ada ya. Mungkin
rata-rata IQ sih. EQ benar. Ada tapi jarang sekali.
Jarang. Jadi mungkin can you share a bit ya. Jadi maksudnya EQ itu apa sih? What is actually emotional quotient itu ya? Apa sih emotional intelligence itu sebenarnya apa sih?
Yeah. So to put it, I mean, if you Google it now, you will see a very complicated definition, kan?
Yeah, that's why I don't want to Google it, man. That's why I ask you.
That's why, I mean,
makanya kita mau denger aja.
Yang simple aja, bro. Layman term. Ini kita yang simple aja.
Jadi di sini KISS, we keep it simple, yeah. So I'll try to give you the easiest way of understanding, and which we believe makes most sense. So we in Beyond Growth, we believe the equation for everything that we do. Yeah, so hasil or output is input times quality. Yeah, so apa kita melakukan? Yeah, okay, there's a certain output, ada hasilnya. Tapi caranya, the way we do it, that's the quality. Itu kita nggak bisa measure. Yes, you can say, okay, we can look back in the data. Dari data itu kita bisa lihat dari mana kita mesti memperbaiki. Okay, that's true, but still. Even you know one small thing, for example, in your data, the number is not right. Okay, we have to work on this. Kayaknya the follow-up is not good or something like that. Okay, you can see. But the way people do the follow-up or the way they present the proposal, itu semuanya quality. It's very difficult to test. There are a couple of companies or organizations in US yang bilang they say like we can prove that this is your number in emotion. But it's something that changes over the day. Even IQ, if you do an IQ test, people say like, okay, today you do it, and maybe next year it will be more or less the same. Still can vary because it's a daily test, kan? It's on that moment. But again, the difference is like, if you will say IQ is a fixed number, that most likely will not change too much, and this is proven that this is what you know. However, the emotional intelligence side or the emotional quotient side can always improve throughout your life. The things that happen to you in your life. You met your future wife, or you break up. All kinds of things. You know, someone got fired, or you had to fire someone. Like all these moments in life, they build up your emotional bandwidth, basically. Yeah, and the way you handle these situations. Yeah. And balik lagi in each of the components, the way you handle relationships, the way you are kesadaran diri, the way you are aware about yourself. Oh, what can I do to someone else? What is my impact to that person? How can I contribute to someone else? All these components together, they call it actually emotional quotient. And if you are aware about all these components inside the emotional quotient, which is a lot. Of course, you cannot say, okay, karena Daniel Goleman bilang ini 4 quadrants, jadi harus begitu. Can be more than that. The point is, it's all about quality, your style of communication. So again, output is input times quality, and quality is the quality of communication. So very simple. Kita coba sih, example-nya Usain Bolt. Nah, Usain Bolt, if we look at the output, kan dia the number 1 sprinter.
Ya.
Right? If we look at the input, dia mesti melakukan apa sebetulnya?
Latihan banyak.
Ya, latihan. Tapi misalnya dia mau menjadi number 1, dia have to sprint, I think 100 meter, kan?
Ya.
100 meter. Now, every sprinter sebelah dia have to do the same thing, sprint 100 meter. Tapi kalau kita lihat gimana dia bisa mencapai the number 1, menjadi number 1, yeah, I think there is a lot of things inside it. It can be the diet, can be the style of coaching, what kind of coach, the style of coaching, what kind of sepatu, what else? Just think about it. So there are many smart people in the world. There are many smart IQ people in the world. It's not like, oh, bukan. It's like in life, there is no, you cannot literally say, this is right, this is wrong. Like you have to get to a degree or you don't have to. Dari dua-duanya, it's like perspective. Jadi some people learn through life experiences and they build up their emotional intelligence, and they don't need too much of the intellectual quotient. They don't need to relate too much on it. Yeah. Again, some professions you need to finish your degree and you need to prove that, okay, I can become a doctor or a lawyer. But again, if you talk about business and things that people do in life, we see a lot of successful people that have like a very strong emotional, have built a very strong emotional quotient, and this is through life, through communication with people. Yeah, and that's the beauty I think about communication. Can we don't live for ourselves, can we? Always like whether what religion you have, but you live always for something bigger than yourself, yeah? Or at least you live with other people. And yeah, how do we connect? Yeah, dulu back in the days, prehistorical days, yeah, we were screaming or clapping and stuff. Yeah, now we communicate, and our style of communication, so our choice of words and the way we deliver it to what kind of person, tergantung dia juga. What kind of learning style dia ada, what kind of personality style. Maybe he's a bit of a dominant person. Ya udah, kita harus lebih direct juga. Kalau dia lebih soft, ya kita slang-sling. So we have to really understand our impact of communication towards other people and how we can manage other situations. Nah, sebelum itu balik lagi self-awareness, self-management. All these parts I think is emotional quotient, and yeah, sangat-sangat penting in the total equation of output, input times quality. Yeah.
Tapi ini bagus banget nih. Jadi yang dipikirkan itu adalah gimana impact-nya kalau setiap kali kita ngomong ke orang gitu. Jadi nggak cuma kita harus ngomong apa, tapi impact-nya itu akan seperti apa. Apakah itu will be good or bad gitu kan?
Yeah, exactly. This is also what we role play in the training. Jadi, let's say I send you a proposal, you see all the modules, you say, wow, Roy, you're going to do the 5 levels of leadership, all the golden circle. Ya, itu cuma content. Ya. Yang paling pentingnya context. In what kind of context we're going to deliver the training? What are we going to actually talk about? Okay, we can talk about this module, or we can talk about how this module in your company, in your department, with your team, how would you do it? How would you implement it? And then what would it mean? Yeah, and nggak apa-apa, you understand the module, okay. Tapi nggak penting buat kita. Lebih penting nanti kalau kita nggak ada di sini lagi, how we going to use this module and how you can actually implement it with your people. So you also know the impact of it. So I think this is very important because, to be honest, a lot of and I follow also some motivational speakers, and it's really interesting how they do their thing. But we see in Indonesia in the beginning when I came here 5 years ago, and now it's still there, but agak berubah juga. There's a lot of like motivational kind of speaking gitu kan? But
banyak.
Yeah, but motivation kayak gini.
Kita udah pernah invite satu juga kok. Teman saya juga itu.
Yeah. And it's good, you know, we need to have these motivational sparks, yeah, like spark. But we know again, one day after, maybe langsung after this call, people back to their email and stuff like that kan. The point is like, what's the lasting impact? Banyak perusahaan tanya, Roy, what's my return on investment? Yeah. Itu balik lagi. I don't know if you know the quote from the CFO, like they say like, oh, if we invest on our people and they leave, Tahu kan CFO bilang ke CEO, we invest in our people in the, let's say, training program. Tapi nanti abis itu mereka pergi. Gimana tuh? Rugi. Kalau kita nggak invest and they stay, gimana tuh?
Lebih rugi.
Yeah. So we get a lot of questions. Okay, Roy, what's my return on investment? I said, okay, kalau gitu, we lihat aja your KPIs or your OKIs, and then OKRs, and then we just look at it. Okay, after the training, we keep very close track on your numbers, and then we see what's going to improve or what's not. And then we're going to find out from the training what communication impacted, what style of communication that they're doing differently right now after training impacted the business. Yeah. Once we know, okay, then we know it's most likely from there. That's why, again, quality is very hard. Quality is very hard to measure in soft skill. Yeah? A soft skill is very hard to measure, but a hard skill is very easy to measure. Yeah, again, the big difference between both of them, you need both. Kita butuh dua-duanya.
Ya kalau nggak NATO ya, no action talk only. Jadi banyak cerita soft skill semuanya, tapi nggak punya yang something yang bisa di-grabs kan sebenarnya kan. Akhirnya begitu.
Betul. Yeah.
So interesting, right? So Roy, I have a question here. Jadi mungkin dari perspektif your own experience atau dari your client, you don't have to mention the names of course.
Yeah.
Tapi can you give us 2 examples gitu ya? Jadi di mana satu kita you really see EQ ini atau emotional intelligence ini really play a role and make it to be very successful on certain things. And vice versa, di mana pada saat orang itu tidak melakukan hal yang seharusnya dia lakukan, dan akhirnya there is a really loss. Benar, gitu. Mungkin bisa share sedikit ya, Roy.
Okay, so maybe a good example is like one of the modules that we do is the golden circle and the leadership triangle. So I'll try to explain it very simple, because what happens is after this module, their belief of communication, like the way they should communicate dengan lain-lain, is already changing. Now, for example, the golden circle is always starting with why. Yeah? Let's say, maybe you heard about it from Simon Sinek. In the middle of the circle, there is the why. Around it, you have the how, and then sekitar itu lagi the what. Okay, that's the theory, kan? But if you use it in practice, and we would have a coaching session now, and I would say, okay, John or Vanda, why are you doing this session today? Like, what is the purpose? That's the what. But why are you doing it? And they're like, yeah, well, we want to make impact on Indonesia. We want to share about pengusaha and entrepreneurs and businesses. So, okay. And then how are you going to do it? Yeah, we do the sessions. We have these online Zoom sessions. And what is the result? Well, people, they email us, they comment, and they like it. They want to see new. They even recommend new speaker or new host, new guest that we can invite. So, okay. So actually, you build up the community of Indonesia through this platform, kan? So, betul. Tapi ketika aku pergi, and the session is finished, I'm like, Johnny and Vanda, the reason why they're in this business is because their why, the reason why they want to do it, they want to add value to the, like hit me, they want to build a community, but online, so they can, they can share the insights from all these entrepreneurs. But if I ask you what the result, yang comment, pasti itu lupa, because that's short-term memory. Long-term memory is always talking about the why.
Yes.
And so if you know it now, okay, nice. But nanti when you go with your team, and now I'm managing a team, let's say of 5 or 10 people, and someone comes to me, said, okay, Roy, this is something I can't do. Gimana ini bisa lanjutin? I said, why is it actually important? So aku challenge dia lagi, So you need to implement the module. That's very important. And ketika you implement, you can feel the difference, bedanya. So that's why I always say, like, if you think about emotional intelligence, it's all about your style of communication. The golden circle and why, how, what would be now in social awareness. Yeah, social awareness, relationship management. That's where we would place the module. Yeah, and nanti ada beberapa module lagi. But the complete picture of all these modules will improve your overall EQ. So if you say, like, okay, after the training, what will the client say? I say, Roy, what happened? And this happened to many of our clients. They always ask me now, like, why we should do it. So ketika I give an order to the guys, we have to implement this. And they straight away they balik lagi. Oke, kenapa Pak? Nah biasanya Indonesia, oke Pak, kapan selesai?
Yeah.
So ini balik lagi. So we change the mindset. Now we challenge our own superior, -1, -2, it doesn't matter. So okay Pak, jadi ini kenapa sebetulnya? Pengen tahu. Biar nanti saya juga ada pengetahuan untuk lanjutin ini. So that's really important. One of the important factors, And then we have the leadership triangle. It's the same thing. Why, how, what? Why is leading. How is coaching. Caranya, how. And then what is managing. You always manage a result. Management is always a result. Coaching is always the style. How? Like how we can get there. We challenge each other, and then you'll find maybe the answer from yourself. But aku nggak bisa kasih. So biar you lebih semangat lagi. And then the leading part is the why. So really into inspiring, right? So yeah, it's the modules are always one part, but the execution and the style of execution, that's balik emotional intelligence. So yeah, there are many ways to explain like how you can improve the emotional quotient of a client and what's the difference setelah the training and the feedback of the client. And that's why we also in our program we almost never do a training that is finished and after we don't come back. We always have a post PTE, post training evaluasi. We come back and we use a Kirkpatrick model where you sort of filter, okay, what was the experience, or what was your reaction of the training, how did you experience the training, what did you learn, and what did you, most important, what did you implement? And if you implement, kita udah bisa lihat ada behavior of our people that are already changing. And if you don't ask the question, they just continue their work. But a lot of the times, like when we go to the post-training evaluation, they're actually like, oh, yeah, makes sense. After this training, now they do this, and this in a different way. And yeah, all back like the way you communicate, the style of communication, kita mulai dari mana itu sangat-sangat penting untuk hasilnya. Yeah.
Jadi kalau ini mungkin ada kaitannya kayak dua hal ya, saya ngeliatnya. Satu, when you do things, you need to have a sense of purpose, gitu ya.
Of course.
Jadi makanya kan orang jangan kalau tanya, oh kenapa lo ada di sini? Oh, because I have to pay my bills. But that's not a sense of purpose.
Exactly.
Gitu kan.
Very good.
Itu sebetulnya lebih di how ya, atau mungkin di what lah ya. Tapi I think there is a need for have the sense of the purpose. Yang kedua, mungkin kalau saya ngelihatnya lagi adalah when you do this, it makes you know the why. Jadi membuat orang juga kalau mau bekerja itu benar-benar bekerja dari hati ya. I think really work from your heart, right?
Yeah.
And I think banyak orang yang di sini juga sering bertanya gitu kan. Apalagi kalau pada saat dia lagi banyak masalah, lagi banyak tantangan, it's like so many unsolved problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes they even ask, right? Why am I doing this? Why am I here?
Yeah. No.
Why do I even bother to do this, right?
Yeah.
I can always go back to whatever that I did previously, gitu kan?
Yeah.
Atau I can switch gear and let this go. Tapi kembali lagi is the why yang akan menjadi core muscle-nya ya sebenarnya.
Yeah. But
gitu ya, Roy.
Johnny, it's such a good example, because biasanya ketika kita bahas like this module, like why, how, what, and we say, okay, Putra, what's your why? Why are you at Gojek and why are you not at Grab? Why are you at Allo Doctor and why are you not at Halodoc?
Yeah.
Why are you at insurance company AXA or an AIA? Why you are here? What's the real reason you are here? Yeah, because I have my kids, butuh makan.
Gaji lebih besar.
Ya, gaji. Jadi gampang aja. Kamu sekarang bekerja di Gojek, nanti kasih 7 lebih, kamu pindah ke Grab. Itu purpose-nya kamu. No, enggak. Oh, jadi kenapa kamu di Gojek?
Nggak tahu.
Karena dia the first one and local and it's like, oh, see, balik lagi. Now you're getting closer to your heart. So it's very good what you're saying. It's all about, in the end, all kinds of communication or influence is about touching the heart, kan? So in sales training, there's a very different style of touching the heart. In leadership, of course, it's about finding out the purpose. So a very, very good point. And to find out the purpose, it's not quite easy here in Indonesia because people are used to think about tomorrow, not about next week, next month.
Sangat praktikal lah. Sangat fungsional dan
sangat
pendek.
Yeah. So if I think about tomorrow, udahlah, I just kerja sesuatu and then dapat duit, and then I think about the next day. Tapi if you think about your future, about your purpose, about this is actually by asking these questions, what we were just doing just now, by asking these questions like, why am I here? Why do I even bother in the first place to do this? These are actually very important questions. And again, it's not always about communicating, it's also about asking the right question, the right pull. And ketika kita kasih pertanyaan kayak gitu, it makes those people kayak reflect, you lihat kaca like, oh, so this is why I came to Indonesia. Oh, so this is why I joined Gojek or Grab. And then when you get a more sense of purpose, jadi lebih self-aware juga, wah, that's the real driver that can stick you at Gojek, even Grab kasih offer lebih.
Oh, tergantung lebihnya berapa sih?
Ya.
I mean, it's still
10 kali lipat pindah.
Sorry for being practical again.
Yeah. No, but again, like it's very important, you know, like if you ask me, you know, like every day we make decisions and people say everything you make decisions and they're always, we think about it. No, it's very subconscious. In the morning, I can choose Grab or Gojek, but I always use Gojek. Why? No, because me personally, I love like I've met Nadim once before, and I spoke with him on the purpose.
Ada certain level of different relationships.
Some people say, okay, Warren Buffett, pasti dia like everything he do is like calculate. Say, yeah, but balik lagi, he can choose Coca-Cola or Pepsi. He can choose McDonald's or Burger King. They're both great companies. Tapi if you look at his kegiatan, dia tiap hari in the morning, he has a breakfast from McDonald's and he drinks a Diet Coke. You know, so there's always an emotional part that you choose something first. So there's always an emotional part that you went for this company or for that company. But if you don't ask yourself the question, ya kita nggak bakal tahu. So to build up your purpose, your self-awareness, very good. It's about like asking the good questions to yourself. Biar kita benar-benar bangunin this strong purpose, which is the driver in the long term, which is why you can stay maybe until jam 7, jam 8, and you're not just like check out, boom, jam 6, because I just want to have the gaji. Nah, kita bisa lihat which one in the company they need to go or they need to stay. Yeah.
Karena ada yang nggak bisa nemuin jawaban nggak? Kayak I don't know why I choose this.
Yeah.
Atau apa gitu. Banyak.
And you know how can I say how amazing that is in the training. And you're a trainer, you're training them, and somebody's like, oh my why, I don't know, you know, and then boom, flat gun. So this is where that's the point. That's the point as a trainer. Now you need to
push. Itu kayaknya majority tuh kayaknya Roy. Kalau ada training 20-30 orang biasanya, okay, why are you guys here today in the training?
Yeah.
Oh, disuruh sama bos.
So this is that's why they do that. Yeah.
Biasanya pasti jawabnya gitu. Oh ya,
kayak disuruh kantor.
Disuruh kantor.
Yeah, betul. Actually, you can see this happens, but again, with Beyond Growth, to kasih this module in an effective way, we let them ask the question themselves first. Mereka tulis, habis itu kita bahas. And then when we see by going around which one have a strong why, we take them first. Now, the other one is going to think, shit, maybe my why is not strong enough. So that's more about like the execution from the training. But it happens for sure. People say like, I just need to work for my family, or I need the money, or this one give me the best offer, you know. But again, if you look long term, okay, good. But if you really want to develop yourself and your future career, and you want to make progress and promotions, you nggak bisa tahan if you're going to make promotions, but you don't have a strong purpose. You know, we were 3-4 weeks ago. We were at a big client in PIC, and there were people from China sent to Indonesia, and I can feel their strong purpose. You know, they already have proven examples of what they did in China, and they want to do it here as well. Of course, this is not directly possible because ini caranya kerja di sini, caranya main agak beda kan. So they need to learn more about like building relationships, but they're very boom forward kan. So by right, their output, you know, their results in China had a certain input. Jadi mereka udah sangat-sangat percaya, if I do this, I will get this. And I say again, in Indonesia is maybe one of the single most important countries here in the world, that it's so important what you say in what kind of way, the timing. You know, how you say it, what you say, and the timing of it is very important. So to really understand that point, you know, like, and to actually do it, yeah, and then think, okay, I'm maybe the person from Blanda, and I could be a bit too direct in the beginning here. Okay, I have to adapt. So as soon as you can adapt, and you can adapt your communication style, and you can also adapt it to one specific person, because you know dia agak kayak gitu, and then you know, like, okay, his character is like that, let me change my communication style. This is how you can become very successful in Indonesia. That's why you see also the foreigners, for example, as an example, contohnya misalnya, for example, Eric Meyer is a friend of mine. I think he's one of the longest, one of the Dutch person who stayed here for the longest. And yeah, he really adapted, you know, to Indonesia. He you know, he even converted to Muslim. He you know, he speaks fluent Bahasa. So yeah, there's a lot of good things that he did. So he adapted to the locals, and then the locals lebih percaya, because they're like, okay, everything that he says makes sense. He not only say the theory, he also say it in the right way. And I think that's a success factor, I think, in Indonesia, your emotional quotient. Yeah.
Kalau mau ikutan course-nya ini tuh berapa lama? Maksudnya kayak ada paket-paketnya atau gimana?
Yeah, so actually, of course, if a client says, so Roy, I want 1 week training, you know, kita bisa, kan? But the usual standard package is a 2-day training program. Yeah, so leadership is 2-day, sales is 2-day, coaching is 2-day. But again, if you say, okay, one-on-one coaching, itu bisa 3 bulan, 6 bulan. Yeah, we have clients that we keep on coaching like bi-weekly. But a normal program, if you say, okay, I want to have a foundation leadership development skills foundation training, 2 days, minimum 2 days. Sales, yeah, ada yang bilang, okay, I just want to have 1 day, Pak, bisa. I said, okay, then we take the highlight modules. Tapi, yeah, you know, training, you cannot change too much in 1 day or 2 days.
Yeah.
Really about the follow-up. The follow-up is you set the foundation sebetulnya, but the follow-up and the active coaching that you do afterwards on the training modules, on the material that you gave in the training, that's the most important. That actually can change your behavior. Because behavior, you know, we cannot change, you know, sikat gigi one time, okay, you do it like 30 days, 60 days, and then boom, you always do it at the same time. You know, so it takes time to change behavior, especially in here where we have cultural beliefs, certain paradigms. So that takes time. And we also explain it to we are very, very transparent and open to the clients by saying like, okay, I know you want to improve so much. You have like current situation, desired situation. I know you want to go there. We can go there in those 2 days. We will get there. But it's about after the 2 days, if you will stay there. So in order to stay there and to have a good grip on your new knowledge, yung pengetahuan baru, well, and in order to execute it, we'll need to have follow-up.
Sebenarnya sama juga kayak breaking the habit ya, mungkin ya kalau saya lihat juga ya Roy. Karena banyak orang kan yang mungkin pada dasarnya misalnya dia sudah melakukan hal seperti, halnya memang seperti itu misalnya, kayak nanya, udah kayak gini, oke, kapan bisa selesai? Game lu mau kerjain apa? Gitu kan, udah soalnya begitu.
Ini questionnya kayaknya untuk kamu ya, you want to change your habit of nanya-nanya gitu ya?
Ya mungkin ya. Jadi memang kan kadang-kadang kan karena kan dari kita juga kan sebenarnya kan ada pressure. Kenapa? Karena the pressure is like, come on, dude, execute.
Dari atasnya ditekan
Kapan
juga.
mesti selesai? Because we cannot wait, right?
Yeah.
Lu nunggu sehari 2 hari, competitor will come in, and then suddenly things will change. Consumer will change the thinking, etc. Right? Jadi itu kan pressure itu yang membuat juga dari leadership-nya atau mungkin dari manajemennya a lot of times, atau bahkan sebagai seorang entrepreneur atau co-founders or whatever, right? Yeah. Itu seringkali mereka terbawa that emotional dan benar-benar, you know, come on, time is ticking, man. What's going on? What are we doing? Why? Kok mana gitu kan? Jadi it's really kadang-kadang susah ya. Kalau mungkin secara again like pictures of the golden and the triangle and the golden circle itu sounds very logical, sounds very make sense.
Yeah.
But it's really hard, you know, to implement.
Yeah.
Itu benar-benar kalau suddenly like, okay, terus mikirnya, oh, why are we doing this? Gitu kan. Terus baru bengong gitu kan. Terus kadang-kadang juga culture di Indonesia adalah, you shut up, right? Why you ask so much? freaking execute. The more I spend 2 hours with you explaining, I just lost that 2 hours.
Yeah.
Just execute.
Yeah.
And get it ready in the next 2 hours. Why you ask so many questions? Kan gitu kan. Jadi kadang-kadang ada yang begitu juga. Nah itu mungkin you bisa share sedikit ya. Mungkin untuk kita-kita yang gimana tuh kalau kayak dengan situasi-situasi seperti itu ya.
Yeah. So that's actually itu sebetulnya the irony of life. Yeah. Like on the other hand, we know exactly what to do. Yeah? Like if we lihat golden circle segala macam, this is what we should do. But then in practical, we cannot lose too many time. Yeah.
Correct.
And we've seen that many times in the training. We explain everything, they do it in the role play, they perform. Ketika ada break, boom, kegiatan or.
Because when you are really pushed and that pressure, right, really benar-benar ditekan.
Yeah.
Then suddenly you go back to your nature.
Yeah.
And when you go back to your nature is not like that.
Yeah. And
susah itu.
And actually to change behavior or to change, I wouldn't say nature, but to change your habits, this comes really back down to the frequency of doing it. It's all about repetition. Like if you do a small thing for a very long time, even it's a very small thing, daripada a big thing you do berapa kali aja seminggu. If you do a small thing very frequent, for example, we have a module. It's called the MERSVP analysis. You wake up in the morning, you ask yourself 7 questions. How do I feel mentally? How do I feel emotionally? You just ask yourself, how do I feel mentally, emotionally, relationally, spiritually, vocationally, and then physically. You ask yourself, okay, how do I feel? Just asking. You don't have to think about like, okay, is this really what I feel? No, you just straight job. You do it the next day, you keep on doing it, until you're actually aware, like, oh, I just told myself that I feel physically weak. Yeah. The point is, the repetition is the most important part of any training program. So if you are giving the knowledge, you're giving the module, we are already asking them, okay, and how could you implement this in your day-to-day activities? Because we already want to relate to their real situation. Because when you go into training, it's just like, okay, this is the room, the training program. After 2 days, we're finished. No. We are here for you to change only a small thing in the future. We don't want you to do all the training modules. Mungkin dia kira, oh, this one aku pilih. Ini saya pilih. So if you have 20 modules on a day or 10 modules on a day, let's say you have 10 modules on a day. If you only choose one module and you're confident that if you will do this repetitively throughout your days, or at least once a day, whatever the module may be that you like, and you keep doing it for a good amount of time, which is at least 30 days, this is where you can create real change of behavior. So that's why we always say, sebetulnya a training program is just there for you to give an insight. Insight, information, a little bit of application, tapi the integration balik to you. Like you can choose what you want to integrate. Mungkin you don't even need this module. You already know about it.
Benar. Kadang-kadang juga jadi reminder.
Makanya -1, they are very experienced leaders, right? So they know a lot of things. So they also say, Roy, from all your modules, there are 2 things that I really going to use. Oh, this one I can really use for my time management. I really know what to pilih. I will use this. Okay, nice. Hopefully you will do. The point is, in the post-training evaluation, we're going to challenge them. Okay, how many times did you actually use it? And then like, oh shit, I used it in the beginning, the first week, but after the first week, actually I lost track. I say that's why you cannot change your real habit in the long term. So if you ask me the question like, okay, what should we do, or what is it that we are lacking in changing our behavior? It's the frequency. It's only the frequency. I mean, it took me now more than 10 years to do all these training programs and everything. I started very young, and I'm still doing things wrong. We all make mistakes.
Of course.
And there are still some moments that I think like, oh, this is maybe too long, or I should have already executed. So this will always be our challenge and our irony and challenges in life. But I believe just focus on a small thing. Even if you get so much, focus on a small thing and focus on the frequency of doing it.
Ini kalau orang bilang ini apa? Mind fitness
ya.
Mind fitness. Setiap hari mindnya disuruh continuously exercising, mind fitness.
Kan? Ya, betul. Banyak kan yang bilang, if you don't use it,
Yeah.
You lose it. Jadi sama aja. If you don't use it mentally, you also lose it mentally.
Yeah.
I can just, you know, if I look at my dad and I look at my younger brother, you know, you already see big generation shifts, you know, and what I see in this era of time, and if I look at myself or us here in the call, you know, a lot of people are having this image like, oh, I should be established, you know, I should have my company, I should be a CEO or something, and to be honest, you know, like life is only so short, yeah, and it's really about yourself, like what would you like to do in your life the most, what makes you like puas, satisfied, and you feel like, oh, I want to make other people better, or I want to make an impact on the country, I want to trade something. It's all personal, yeah. And try to keep it also very personal. So balik lagi, you're very close to building up your self-aware, baru ke self-management, social aware, relationship management. So it all starts with kesadaran diri. So if you work really well on your self-awareness, every other choice you will make, yeah, is most likely a good choice, yeah. Because if you make choices for other people because the narrative is now, oh, you need to be a CEO, if you do that because of other people, you will really walk away far from yourself, yeah. Because if you ask me like, Roy, so you don't want to be a millionaire or something, yeah, maybe maybe I wouldn't even join or start this business. It's not the point for me. For me, the point is that what value can I add, and if that makes me as a self-aware person good, like it gives me like a complete feeling, okay, I focus on that. But again, in order to be successful, I think in whatever you're doing, it all comes back to communication, because we're not static human beings, you know, we're not all people that are coding or it's not only about emailing, and it's also about the face-to-face communication, right? Especially now in this time when we are limited to Zoom and we cannot always meet up outside, which we do need. I really truly believe people need, you know, like need to see each other in 3D, you know, like physically and discuss. That's really important. I think that human beings need that. But if you ask me like, okay, from a training a communication provider point of view, it's always like try to work on your communication skills, and especially on like your style of delivery, knowing how that will impact other people, yeah. And yeah, just keep working on that. And if you feel like, okay, I need to work more on talking to myself first before I talk to other people, okay, like that's your own choice, just your own rights. Hak diri sendiri. But yeah, again, try to keep it very close to yourself. Try to make self-aware choices, something that you don't regret afterwards, because you're like, I did it because of someone else. And then once you start interacting with other people and you start building up your team, you know, the key in life is not about what you know. It's also not like how you do it, but why you do it. And that's your self-awareness. And then I think life will be much more easier and fun, you know, like,
Sure.
That will be my 2 cents.
Interesting. Mungkin sebelum kita close, I have my own personal question actually. Sorry, but
okay, yeah.
Gini ya, Roy. I think you raise a very good thing, right? When we interact benar-benar ketemu sama orangnya, I think somehow somewhere there is a different ada different sense, right? Bahwa because there's a physical, kita ada handshake, there's the emotional will be able to be built easier, right? Because of all that physical. Because at the end of the day, manusia itu memang kan is a social human being gitu. On the other hand, sekarang as you pointed out tadi ya, udah mesti pakai Zoom, nggak boleh jabat tangan, duduk mesti berjauhan. That is actually even make it more difficult, to be frank. In terms of really connecting with people and really getting your message to get through and all that, right? Jadi, maybe as a last questions, you bisa kasih tips on people, how can they basically improve the communication online versus offline? Jadi, apa sih tips and tricksnya misalnya over the Zoom untuk make people continuously to be engaged, whether it's one to many, atau one to one, atau one to few? Mungkin bisa di-share sedikit.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very good recommendation that I can give is actually something that we give to a client like a couple of weeks ago, because we had the training program. It was face to face.
And thanks for giving it for free here, by the way.
Yeah. But I believe this fits to we have to share with each other. We're all in it together now.
Sure.
And like, because we are now having this conversation over Zoom, it's quite easy for me. And I always, to be honest, to be very self-aware and open to direct to myself, I always stumble up myself that, I just keep on talking. And that's why I have another partner, and he's much more of the listener. And this is the balance between verbal communication, because it's less. Well, there is still some non-verbal communication, because I can go deep into the screen and far from the screen. But if you look purely about what we are communicating verbally, I think it's very important that we have the right balance of what we want to say or actually say it, and what we need to ask. So most of the people, they don't listen to understand. Masuk sini, keluar. Then okay, this is what I want to say. It's not the point.
Banyak tuh.
A lot of it, yeah. Especially when it goes back to relationships. It's like, he or she never listen. So the thing is,
let's not go there, right?
No, let's do it. But the thing is, I saw Vanda already laughing, so I was like, okay.
Sorry.
No, but the thing is, kayak gini. So because we are now at home doing our stuff, and then kadang-kadang we meet up, and now we meet up with a total of 5 people. Could be 10 people, could be also 1 person. If you ask me, for sure we need to have more one-on-one sessions. Don't have to be too long, can be 15 minutes, short, prepared. And this is going to be like a small coaching session. Let's say Johnny, you would be the leader of this group. You will have a 15-minute conversation with us, and you're just pure listening, and we're just like sharing stuff with you, and we feel we have a listening ear, someone who gives 15 minutes of quality time, truly listening about what we need from our leader. Wow, itu bagus banget. So short one-on-one sessions, short one-on-one coaching sessions, where you already identified, okay, this is the one who's going to listen for now, and this is the one who's going to actually share membicara. So I think this is very, very important, because in this time we have so much on our plate. We have, some people need to even work longer. Some people say it's more effective and I have more time. The point is, ketika kita buka the Zoom, and I see it all over the place, everyone wants to say something. Everybody's like, yes. But who's truly listening to each other? Like, who's truly like intentionally listening? Like, what does this person actually mean? And how important that is in Indonesia, because in Indonesia you can say a lot, right? But you can say yes and it means no, right? You can say maybe and it means definitely no.
Benar.
So,
unlike Netherlands or in different countries, Indonesia.
Emang itu cuma di Indonesia doang kayak gitu?
Majority of the culture are like that in Indonesia.
So
quick answer
I mean, balik ke budaya, we really don't want to offend people.
Benar, nggak mau offensive. Not being aggressive or offensive. But anyway, good. Wah, that's amazing ya. I think Roy, benar-benar ya. I think to wrap up, tadi kan you juga share itu, the way I see it is really 2 hal ya yang saya lihat ya. Jadi satu, you still need to have that personal touch, one-on-one. Yang kedua, you really need to balance antara mendengarkan, jadi bukan cuma tung gitu, numpang lewat gitu ya, but listen to understand, and balance it when you want to talk, gitu ya. I think those are the 2 tips lah yang mungkin yang saya tangkap ya, yang saya coba summarize. So, ini nggak kerasa banget ya. I think it's almost like 45 minutes.
Udah 50 menit nih, over limit sih.
So,
Spesial untuk Roy.
Thank you so much, Roy.
Thank you too.
Thank you so much. Udah sharing sama kita di sini.
Safe trip to you ya. Ini udah banyak sharing tips-tips yang mungkin kalau orang mau belajar udah mesti bayar ribuan $, ini sama kamu ini. So it's really appreciated from your time, right? Safe trip going back to your hometown and enjoy your holiday soon.
It's not a holiday ya. Masih ada.
It's not holiday.
No.
Masih kerja juga. Okay.
I wish.
So mungkin Panda, do you wanna wrap up mungkin?
Udah, kayak waktu kita udah habis ya. Jadi selesai udah episode 3 di season 2 kali ini. Sekali lagi thank you banget untuk Roy dari Beyond Growth. Tadi udah sharing hal-hal positif banyak banget dan benar-benar relate banget sama kita nih, juga semua yang udah dengerin. Dan untuk kalian semua jangan lupa untuk subscribe kita di